Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. So today we're going to go ahead and work on making some gunspalls or gunflints. It's kind of the old colonist style of knapping. So when colonists first got to America and then the flintlock became available, flints were not made in a industry setting just yet. There wasn't quite there yet. So the flintlock came out, but the ability to make flints wasn't a huge thing yet, and then trade routes weren't established just yet. So what happened was, in order to get flints, the colonists would use the ship's ballast, which was commonly filled with flint, and they would chip their own by knocking a flake and then shaping that flake really crudely. Basically, they just needed something to create a spark. And it wasn't up until I don't know, I think it was another 10-15 years after colonists arrived that trade was a thing with the English in terms of flints, because they weren't quite ready yet. I'd have to check the dates on that, but I'm fairly certain that's correct. And I left my notes in the house, so please take that with a grain of salt. But there's a website article. I think it's Cobbles to Gunflints in Maryland, and they go through a whole thing on that. And what they were finding is that these dig sites, usually on the back porches of these structures, they were finding flint knapping debitage. They were finding loose flakes. So what we're going to do is try to find a cobble. We're going to knock off a flake and try to make a gunspall, much like how they would have done it when the colonists first arrived. Now, I don't have flint. It would be awesome if I did, but I do have some rock, some Texas rock. And I don't have too many cobbles because I don't. I usually break them down pretty quick. So, but I do have this guy here. This top piece looks really good, but all the rest looks a little gross. And I also have this smaller piece here. I don't know what kind of material it is. So step one is to knock off a usable flake, and we're going to shoot for a 3/4 by 7/8 flint, which is pretty much the most common size nowadays. So that's the goal. And we'll do what we can. I'm going to use hammerstones and antler. Colonists, they don't really know what tools they used. It looks like on the website that they had some what they called awls. To me, look like pressure flaker inserts, but you never know. I don't claim to be an expert. I'm just trying to share the information that I have. So we're going to go ahead and knock this out and see what we can do. So let's see what we can do. Maybe we'll use this rock here. So I'm going to trim this down a little bit. I was just using obsidian not too long ago, so I'm going to have to get used to the hardness. So this might be a little clumsy today. Basically, we're looking for a flake suitable enough to get a 3/4 by 7/8 flint, so that's what we're shooting for. That one kind of exploded. So try again. Try maybe right here on this ridge. No, didn't stay together. Usually helps if you hit the platform you're aiming at. Let's try again. Keep missing. Got it good and isolated now, so let's see if that works. Right there is where we want it. Strike. Strike. Come on. Try again. This rock might be too soft. Let's try something a little harder. This one's harder, so let's see if this works better. There we go. So this came out a little bit twisted, but there's a flake. And we could probably get a gunflint out of that. Now, a lot of times they would take the bulb of percussion and they would put that at the back of the flint, and then the sharp edge, they would nibble and trim and try to put the sharp edge near the middle. So we're going to go ahead and try to knock off another flake, see if we can get a little bit closer to what we need. I hit that one a little high, but looks like we might be able to get a gunflint out of this. So as you can see, it's nice and thin. Basically just need something to spark. And I was going to bring my steel striker out to test, but I forgot. So we got this flake here. Let's potential gunflint, and we'll go ahead and try to knock off one more flake or two. Not that one. So we're just gonna, whoopsie daisy. That might have been a good one, but I don't know where it went. So go ahead and try another one. Maybe try this side here. Go braid that a little bit. Now this would have been the inefficient way to do it. Over time, different systems were put into place to, at least on the English side, to make things a little bit easier. We're just trying to pretend we're the colonists. And interestingly enough, a lot of the stuff was really crude. And they were often confused for scrapers. We're going to try right here. There we go. There's a nice chunk right there. So we'll try that one out. So really we're just going to keep playing around. So just ignore the fact I don't have access to really good flint, and a lot of the stuff in the ship's ballast was pretty decent material. It was all over the place in England, which is why they used it as ballast. So, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and just stop with this guy. I'm gonna switch rocks just for fun. So we got this ugly guy. I'm gonna go ahead and try to knock off a few flakes here. Set this on my leg. There might be a couple gunflints in that one. Let's do one more so we can get to the good stuff. Let's try one more. I'm gonna try right here. I don't know if it'll work or not, but we're gonna give it a go. And that one didn't work. Try one more. Might be a gunflint in there. Be a little chunky, but I don't think that matters. This one would have probably been usable for like a pistol flint, like a 1/2 by 1/2 or 5/8 by 5/8, something like that. But we're not gonna do that. Let's do one more, and then we'll call it good enough for now. Might be a gunflint in there. There's a nice big chunk. Alright. Okay, I lied. One more. One more. There we go. Bet there's a gunflint in that. Who knows, maybe if I was part of that colony that back in the day, they'd have made me the honorary gunflint maker. Doubt it, but you know, it's okay. I'd have been too poor to get on the boat. Maybe a life of indentured servitude, who knows. But alright, we're gonna stop so we can get to trimming. So for practice sake, we're going to go ahead and work on, just to get going, let's work on this one here. I think there's a crack in it, but maybe not. Go ahead and try to trim this one up a little bit. We don't need all this, but it would be nice if we can get a flint out of this, so we're going to do some trimming. And what I like to do, and you've probably seen this in my previous videos, is we could take a rock, and another rock, and we could do some trimming. Maybe use this one. We're going to use this as kind of like the anvil. we could kind of trim. So usually when you're trimming blades on the stake, when you're doing it like the English version, you do go from the smooth side. And that's what we're going to do right here. We're just going to trim this off here. So I don't know if this will break nicely, but we're going to try it. It exploded. I should have known better. That's okay. We're learning together, right? I think we were on the right track. I just messed up. Alright. So now we got this guy here. This one would probably make a suitable gunflint. We just got to get it trimmed to size. So we'll go ahead and grab this same rock. We'll try to trim this guy up a little bit. And then we'll touch it up with pressure. So between the two rocks, and we could shape it with pressure, but this is a little quicker. Now I couldn't tell you if this is how they did it. I don't know if I don't think that article goes too deep into how, other than that they did, if that makes sense to you guys. But they did emphasize that they were pretty crude. And from my knowledge base, it appears that there weren't any flint knapping workshops in America at any point in time, other than people doing it on their own back porch. I said I was going to use antler. We'll use antler. I got this guy here. I'll probably use this one here. Get this trimmed in a little bit nicer. I don't know what they would have used. I would assume antler if they're hunting deer. Natives had an advantage because they were making projectile points. So I'm not sure if the Americans learned from the natives or not. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. I doubt it. Because from my understanding is natives were viewed as less than human. They were viewed as more like animals than anything, which is sad because there's so much information that could have been documented that wasn't. All because they were thought of as inferior. It's a shame. But that isn't unique to America. It is a worldwide issue. Even native tribes against native tribes, you know. If you weren't their people, you weren't worth anything. So, it's sad. It's sad that that's how human nature tends to be. But, that's okay. Hopefully, nowadays we've learned from our mistakes. So we're just gonna keep nibbling this guy in because it's way too big, but we're getting there. Just gonna keep nibbling away at it. And this rock is so hard. It is really tough material. Which is why I'm having a hard time here. Usually when I do gunflints, I use copper. But that's okay. We're going to do it with antler today. So we're just going to keep working this in. We got to get to about 7/8 long. working it from there. I'm going to switch antler tines. That one's not very good. That one I got stuck with. There we go, we're getting better. Just keep working it in. I don't know how long it would have taken the old guys to do it, but I assume about just as long, considering I have the experience. They would not have had it. So, next time I do this, I'll make sure to bring my striker down so we can test to see if it sparks. So we're just going to keep squaring that up. I'm going to go ahead and pull from this side now a little bit, so I think we can get it a little bit cleaner. Trying to stab myself in the finger. Okay, let's check the size real quick. Ugh. So we're about 1 1/8 there. 5/8 back here, so we do need to nibble that back end in, which we can do. Man, it's tough stuff. Trying to get this nub in here. Try and percuss it. Get out of there. It's just hard rock. Okay, fine, I'll be that way. Tough spot right here. There, get out of there. Rascal. There we go. Break a split here in a minute. I might sharpen this tine a little bit. There we go. Alright. So let's go ahead and keep going. going a little bit more. Back end here. They got me right in the lip. Okay, let's see how we're doing on length. Usually when I'm doing trimming, I like to go 1/8 over, so we're at 1 inch. So I don't want to shorten it anymore. I want to pull the sides in now, because we're got a ways to go on the sides. I'll square this side up and then pull this side in. Grab my other hand pad to make this a little thicker. Keeps my hands from cramping up. I'll work on squaring this up now, at least within reason. This is probably a lot more than what they would have done. This is where my my flint knapping knowledge is helping. Just gonna square this guy up a little bit. Man, this rock is tough. So here's where we're at so far. And so we got this side, and this side. Now we're gonna fix this side. Let's see how we're doing on width. Width we're doing good. We don't want to go much thinner than what we got right there. And then this will be our working tip or the back. So we want to leave the base alone best we can. Square everything up. Getting closer. Mostly in a hurry because I don't want to have to splice the video. I finished another point before I started this one, which is why I'm further into my lunch hour than I would normally be. Alright, so here's where we're at. We got a rectangle. Let's check our width. We're at just under 7/8, so just over 3/4, which is awesome because then that gives you room to resharpen. Now we're going to go ahead and try to fix the edges here. Because we've got 1 inch, we need 7/8, so we're going to go ahead and clean this up. Maybe. There we go, that was a good one. About as good as it's going to get. This material's no fun. See how we're doing on length. We're at 7/8 on the button, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to zigzag the back and front real quick with a finer tip tine, and just see if we can't clean it up a little bit more without taking too much off. Recommend choosing a nicer rock. Georgetown is nice. I read Novaculite works really well, but I don't know. So we're going to go ahead and clean up the back end here a little bit. There we go. So here's a gunflint. It's probably a lot nicer than what they would have done, but okay. Working edge, working edge. Might even be able to use these two edges too, depending on how it fits in your gun. So there's that one. Alright, I'm at 26 minutes of video, so we'll see if we can start another one. Maybe go a little quicker than this one did. Let me check the dimensions real quick. So we're at 13/16 by 7/8. So your 7/8 is your working edge. So 13, this could be used on all four sides. Might just need a little nibbling. Let's go ahead and try another one here. This rock is just so hard. Where'd the other one go I did? Yeah, let's try this other material. Yeah, let's try this one real quick. This one's a lot thinner. Let's see if we can't knock a square out real quick. I got a bunch of rocks laying all over the place. Ugh, okay. Let's see, we don't want the bulb, so all of our flint's going to be in here, so we're going to nibble this bulb off. You can keep it, but for this piece I'm going to get rid of it. This will make a thinner gunflint. This rock is so much easier already. So basically you're just hitting the edge. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. So we're just trimming this in. Trying to get this a little bit more consistent. So there's that line right there. Go ahead and trim this other side in. Gently. Gently, you know what I mean. You don't want to hit too high up or you'll split it, like I did earlier. So there's the second parallel side. There's my timer going off. Okay, we're going to trim this side up now. So I guess there's more than one way to skin a cat here. We'll go ahead and bring this side in. We'll have to clean up this loopy edge here. But, I mean, overall, that's not terrible. And that took way less time. So, could definitely do some trimming. Let's see if we can't spend 5 more minutes on it. And then we gotta get back to work. Got my antler tine here. See if we can zigzag this squared off edge here. Zigzagging is where you flick down, flip it over, and then you go off of that one. There's a lot of videos on YouTube that kind of go over that. This material is already a lot nicer than the other one. Basically, we're just evening out the wonkiness here. Just because of everything going on here. Copper's definitely a nicer way to go. But if you're ever in the Texas, well, let's switch to copper. But if you're ever in like the Texas area and you got access to chert, but you don't have copper, you can always use a piece of antler. This gunflint might be a little too thin for some folks, but it's alright. Zigzag this side gently, as gentle as you can be in flint knapping. Pick, turn, pick, turn, pick, turn, pick, turn, pick, turn. Hopefully this one didn't get too narrow on me. Might have. I might have got a little too over eager. Where'd you go? Yeah. Oh, we're right on the money. So we can clean this up a little bit, make it a little more parallel. But you don't have to. I mean, it's just got to make a spark. It don't have to be pretty. Just go ahead and clean this up now. Go ahead and zigzag this space. I'll do more research on Gunspalls so I could try to replicate an actual Gunspall instead of just flint squares. Clean this side up real quick. And then here you go. Another gunflint. So you can trim. Oh, dang it! Yeah. You can trim between two rocks a flake, and then try to just get close to equal thickness, and then make it a rectangle or a square or whatever size you need. I like to zigzag the working face, just because it's nice and sharp. I assume if it's sharp here, then it should create a spark. But I appreciate you guys watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Appreciate your time. Thanks. Bye.